and it's an ugly one. We'll have that for you coming up next.
Really ugly.
No longer have to talk in Jillian's dress.
Oh, darn.
I just want to let you know that I got
a microphone like a big girl. Yay.
Yes, but that was fun.
Lauren, this story,
And a lot of them are hot.
Everyone thought this was such a great story.
It was such a great story, and then it comes crashing down because it's not such a great
Is
story.
it the GDLA biography?
How'd you know?
I don't know.
Okay, one of this year's best stories about a football player putting his team first turns out now to be completely false and ugly, at least according to the New York Times. It involves Yale quarterback Patrick J. Witt. He was called a team hero because he decided to skip his final interview. Epsilon fraternity. Witt was a member of the frat. Okay, and you guys might remember this, I'm not sure, but Yale may never want to hear the term Rhodes Scholar ever again. This whole thing has been a mess for Yale. It really has. Their head football coach, you might remember, Tom Williams, recently resigned after admitting he lied on his resume when he claimed he was a Rhodes finalist. Williams never applied for the Rhodes Scholarship.
Wow.
I don't say that on my resume.
Well, it looks
Tony
good
says
if
he was
it's
the
true.
host of A Good Morning America, and nobody checked.
No one
hired him
checked.
for this.
The only thing I've ever been on is a Rhodes trip.
Me too.
Road trip.
Road trip.
Road trip. Let's do it.
All
That's
right,
it.
Lauren, thank you. It's 7:50 right now. High school seniors now actually working hard.
Coming up, we have Gary Oldman, Elizabeth Hasselbeck is
We're
in
talking
there,
about
and
college
Christina
students.
Milian is in the studio. But
Christina
Gary-
Milian? Oh,
yes, and
so great.
Gary Oldman is going to be right here.
You're so excited about
I
Gary.
love him. He's one of my favorite actors ever.
Good day.
What do you have for us?
This is so depressing, Jillian.
What?
Just listen up, okay? All you ladies out there, take off your heels. Warning
gonna
to women, take longer strides, using their tendons to walk rather than overly engaging their calves, because women sporting heels change their walking behavior because they walk more like this.
Right.
They said it could cause permanent damage to leg muscles. But who wants this? Like, really?
But also, Lauren,
No, you're
Sadly, I don't know what
rationalizing.
you mean.
You're rationalizing.
sorry.
They're bad for you.
Okay.
But we're still going to wear them.
Yeah.
For
It's
you,
probably the
boy.
highest
For
heel I've
you.
ever worn.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
nothing in common. I think that's what it is.
Totally.
I feel you, Tony. Don't you worry.
By the
Don't
way,
you worry.
Christina Milian is coming up to talk about something to do with being African American and being Mexican. Did you know that, or were you just being funny, you guys?
And
We were just being funny. Are
It's
you
called
kidding?
Black and Latino Digital Documentary. Yeah, Christina Milian.
Tony will self-deport at 9 o'clock.
I will self-deport. You're absolutely right.
I am not self-deporting. I know many of you want me to, but I'm not. Okay, Archie Comics unveils its first ever gay wedding. The famed comic book company is hosting it.
We'll be right back.
I'll feed you.
I want to just keep on dancing. Did you see those girls? I love Dorothy feeding them. They do need to eat just a little bit, so thank you, Dorothy, for that. Good morning, everyone. Thank goodness it's Friday. I know we're all looking forward to it, and it's going to be an absolutely beautiful weekend. Check this out. This morning, 60s, a little cloudy over the Santa Monica area, Malibu area, but that's going to all clear away. And then this afternoon, 79 degrees. Can you believe it? We're getting way up there. And then evening, it cools down just a little bit. There is a wind advisory for the Hollywood and Malibu area. We do have a lot of high winds, so just watch out where you're driving, and that's going to continue until 3. But check this out, 79, and then it heats up a little more, 81, 75. Your weekend's going to be absolutely gorgeous. And also there is a high surf advisory out there until 2 o'clock. So if you're hitting the surf, be a little careful. But look at this, it's gorgeous. And speaking of the surf, let's see where he's at. Let's see if he's up. Hey, hi! Jillian's
We're
still
talking about
dancing
Taco
like,
Bell.
Did you
All
see
right.
those?
We are going to the conga room. It's
Hey
so much
guys,
fun.
usually
Let's go.
when
People
I
have
go to the
actually hang
drive-thru
out
at
with
Taco
you.
Bell, it's at 1
Hey,
a.m.
Rick.
for
They go, you got to sit in your chair. So I went, and like Pavlov's dog, I sat in my old chair.
Right
and they go,
here.
what are you doing? You're in Steve's chair today.
Old chair, no, you're in the big dog seat.
But you
guys-
enjoyed it. That was all good.
It was
You
good.
guys
Oh,
are-
I enjoyed it. She sat right
You
there. I was
guys
like, no,
always-
I'm
It was
here.
good for you.
You guys always go out for the food segments, and I never do. And
Kids
people
Lobster.
ask me because I can't. I'm like an eataholic. I'm not like you guys. You guys can pick and choose. If I eat one bite, I eat the whole thing.
Do you
Get that
see
away
much
from me.
left here?
Get that away from
Back
me.
away from the food.
Now,
Devil.
I heard that Gary
But I'll go
Oldman.
exercise today, and I know you don't love to
I
exercise.
hate exercise. Gary Oldman is in the building, so we're going to talk to him in a little bit. And I ran in and I saw Christina Milian, who's also here. Who's so
Okay, I went to
damn
give her a
cute.
hug, and I realized I was so greasy.
Greasy wiener. You tried to touch her with your greasy wiener. Don't do that.
Ever again.
All right,
I did
Idol.
not.
Everybody's
Danny might,
talking about
but
Idol.
I did not. So last night on Idol, we had Sarah Palin girl, hunting girl, divorced girl, the kid who was born without ears, who sang Amazing Grace, who has Amazing Grace, and then this guy. Oh, this poor guy.
Oh, just watch cartoons. How sweet.
I know.
To learn more about Javon and other children who need to be adopted, go to myfoxla.com.
And I always say adoption is such a good thing. I was adopted, look at me, and this is where Steve chimes in and says, that's not a ringing endorsement.
That's not a ringing endorsement.
As my brother likes to remind me, I cost $6, Robin, for the legal fees back in the 60s, and my cat, our mom and dad's cat, cost $200. Hi, Robin.
Hello. Look
Welcome
at the
to show.
ladies.
Yeah, it's the
Love it.
Girl Fest. All right, so what are you here to talk about right now?
Okay, so you have to see this picture. This is a case that this woman here was in the United Kingdom. She
Didn't you wear that yesterday, the middle outfit?
You know, be quiet. We had issues yesterday. We're good today. But this
It was Boobapalooza. Go ahead.
This woman was trying to go to a club. She and her sister go clubbing on a regular, every couple week basis to get out of the house. She has 4 kids.
What?
She is 28 years old, and she was turned away from a club.
Why?
Based on what she was wearing. They're saying what you were wearing was not appropriate and kicked her out of the club.
What kind of club? Because here she'd be the first in line. You know.
Well, right. So this case actually raises 2 issues. First of all, is can the club actually discriminate people based on what they dress?
Do they have
Well,
a
they
dress
do.
code?
By the way, yes, you can. We have
That's
dress
what
codes everywhere, all over
bouncers
the
do
place.
that all the
We have the
time.
right to refuse service
That's
to
right.
anyone.
That's right. No shoes, no shirts,
shirts,
no dice.
Well, she was almost no shirt.
She was almost no shirt, but the question is when you have a dress code and you have this look going on right here, the dress code was smart casual. What is smart casual?
Well, that's
for
streetwalker
clubbing?
casual, I think. That's pretty woman casual back in.
But what
you know.
also happened was the bouncer in this case actually sent her down to do a catwalk and said, you know what, let me take a look at what you're wearing. Sent her down the aisle, had her look, had her do a full turnaround down, came back and
then said no.
And said no, and said no, not based on what she was wearing, but said that she was too old to be
28.
wearing what she was wearing. The problem was she's 28 years old.
She's young.
So, there.
28's too old.
Do we get told that on a daily basis? We shouldn't be wearing these outfits.
Well, no, but-
Does she have a case? That's the bottom line.
There is no case
Of course
actually
not.
here.
It's
Clubs can do anything that they want to do. You can have any sort of dress code that you want to have, and this happens actually in reverse for men all the time. And here in LA, like when you have someone guys wearing baggy jeans, they get accused of looking like gangbangers.
That's right.
Or their hat is the wrong way. They can get kicked out. But it's very interesting that we're subjecting ourselves to the 100% to the discretion of one individual person. It's up to that one bouncer
But that's how
to be
it
able
is
to
in
decide.
clubs all the time. I mean, in LA, you want to get past the velvet rope, you got to go through the bouncer first.
Or I go with Lauren. I
time.
always get in.
She-
that
yeah.
way. Yeah. I
I'm
just
her
can't
plus
believe
one.
she's got 4 kids with that body. Coming up, Christina Milian is here to talk about a new documentary that she was part of. It's about being black. It's about being Hispanic. It's about a lot of things. But first, Oscar nominee.
Be careful a little bit, boys and girls.
All right, it just got a little better in here because Gary Oldman has been acting for over 30 years. He first appeared on our radar as Sid Vicious in Sid and Nancy, and since then he's been in The Professional, State of Grace, The Fifth Element, Dracula, too many others to mention. But his latest performance as George Smiley in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, that's the one that's garnering him nominations up the yin-yang, including an Oscar nom.
I'm here.
Yes, in the flesh.
Better than
Very
a phone call.
excited. Oscar nominee. When does that happen?
How are you? And I,
Doesn't happen very often.
Thank you.
Hi.
Now, did you lose the weight that you put on for the role because you had that swimming scene, and I heard that you wanted to put on a little paunch to be a little.
no, I've just come back from Milan, Paris, and Berlin.
What were you doing, the fashion shows?
And that is what that is. I was actually walking for Prada.
Nice. Were you?
Yes.
You are the face of Prada?
Not the face of Prada, but I was. They wanted me to walk the runway.
Now, how did that feel?
It felt fabulous.
You loved it.
I gave it my
You're all.
blue steel.
Were you in? Yes. So you were in
like
full
that.
character.
Yeah, but
know.
it was they were really wonderful.
Well, they're
because-
serious about fashion.
Yeah, and
Serious
they-
black.
and they treated me like a
Like
king.
an Oscar nominee?
Well, I was not an Oscar nominee at that point, but
What'd they do? What'd they do?
well, they fed me and drove me around and paid me and gave me clothes.
Nice.
I
So you
mean-
felt like $1 million bucks.
Easy to
Yeah.
please.
You know, people around here were talking. You said Oscar nominee. We were all so surprised that this is your first nomination, and now you're nominated. It seems like in every, all the different awards are nominating you.
Climb the mountain and reach the summit, basically. And
The way you approach roles, because you've done from State of Grace to the Batman, franchise. How do you approach? Is it a feeling that you get of the character that you connect with, or is it? How do you do it?
I think it's all feeling. I think acting is it's not, for me, it's not intellectual. It's
not.
it's a sensation.
Like Sirius Black, you knew. You said, I want to be Sirius Black.
You know, it's funny. When I read Dracula, the screenplay,
Bram Stoker's, yeah.
there was a line in there that wonderful line, "I've crossed oceans of time to find you." And I wanted to do the part to say that line.
You're kidding.
Can you say it one more time?
It was one line.
I've crossed oceans of time to find you.
Oh, gosh, okay, I'm done.
Well, you did just come from Berlin to be here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, I've certainly crossed an
And
ocean.
what a
or two.
letdown. It's GDLA. Is that what you're saying, Gary?
No, I'm happy to be back
Gary,
to the sun.
Do you like playing the good guy, or do you like playing the bad guy better?
Because you're good at the bad guy.
Yes, I can play a bad guy, I guess. I can play a good bad guy.
From you.
I swear, I was like, oh, we have to go in about that.
Okay, now I'll hug you. I was a little greasy before.
I saw that with the hot dogs and the lobster.
Well, okay, what dress is this? Just tell me what dress is.
What
are you wearing?
BCBG.
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Awesome.
Cute. I love that you knew what she was
Well,
wearing.
I walked over and I was like,
that was the first thing she asked me.
yeah, and by the way, I'll be sporting
And
it
we
next
share
week.
that with each other.
Now, this is really important because we were just talking with Steve, who was here last week, who's on vacation and will be back.
miss you, Steve.
Yes, he's coming back on Monday.
He will live on just you saying that alone for a week.
We were talking about race, and I was saying, you know, it's definitely out there. Racism exists. What is this movie about, and what are you trying to say with it?
Well, it's a web mini documentary to basically just bring awareness that Latinos come in all forms and all colors. You know, we especially Black Latinos. You know, we really want to bring about just the awareness of people just talking about it, and for there to be more role models like myself.
You are
know,
Black Latino.
I'm a brown
You're so
Latino. I'm
beauty.
Cuban
My
American.
son is half Black, half Latin, and it's very
Exactly.
hard. He doesn't. It's difficult. He doesn't. He's like, well, am I Black?
Yes.
Am I Mexican? I'm not. I was like, you're both.
It's
like,
very
and
hard for them to identify. And as a child, it was hard for me to identify because it was like, what are you? Are you Black or are you white? And that was the only option. So it's a gray area.
It
And why do you
still
have to
is that
pick?
way.
It is, and that's why we did this documentary to talk about it. I mean, you have
The crash at the X Games involving a snowmobiler. We're going to show you that. Plus, we're going to have the red flag warning. Lauren
Yes, we have a
Sanchez.
red flag warning. It's very windy up there. And we have a high surf warning as well. Oh, yes, we do until 3 o'clock. Beautiful day. In 2008, Crystal Harris was raped by her husband, and he was sent to prison. But because she made more money than he did, a judge told Crystal that when her husband gets out of prison, she is going to have to pay him alimony.
Well, now the California Assembly is considering a bill that would prevent men like Harris's husband from getting spousal support. Crystal Harris is with us along with our...
That maybe people who were thinking of divorce would go and say, oh, this person did something really horrible to me, so I'm not going to pay him, or vice versa. Is that where his intention was?
I don't know what.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And on that
Agreed.
note, Robin, thank you so much. Crystal, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to shift gears entirely right now. We're going to go up to Rick Dickert and Sky Fox. See, prove it. Lauren?
Okay, this is good. Come Sunday, a who's who in Hollywood will be dressed and tressed for the Screen Actors Awards. And guess what? We are giving you your first look inside the Shrine Auditorium before the big show takes place. We love you.
All
Okay,
right.
still to come.
Yeah, is there a Ferris Bueller sequel in the works?
Okay, that just breaks my heart. You have to remember that she has children that are hearing this and how difficult that might be for them. I mean, it seriously
Very
breaks
intense.
my heart.
Very
and
intense.
you could tell the woman on the phone, whoever was talking, was clearly panicked. Oh,
Yeah.
poor thing. I hope
All right,
she's okay.
let's change the mood and
The web.
a lot of buzz.
Yeah, they leaked it.
All right, we'll be right back with your weather forecast.
I love it when they leaked. Okay, you got Maria grounded because you announced that she ditched school. Oh, sorry.
This is a long
You
time
just
ago.
said it again.
Sorry.
Okay, let's talk about the weather, okay? Because that I went to school for. We are. All right, we'll be right back.
All right, thanks so much. We'll be right back.